If you have ever reflected on your life and felt like an observer in your own narrative, as if the family you were born into communicates in a language your heart has never fully grasped, and the love you have pursued seems to resonate just beyond your reach, it is not due to any flaw or misplacement on your part. Rather, it is because your soul retains memories that your mind has overlooked. Your presence here is not a matter of chance. It is a conscious choice made beyond the constraints of time and physical existence, in the sacred stillness that exists between lifetimes. If your childhood resembled a rehearsal for a performance you never auditioned for, and if your relationships feel more like echoes of the soul than new beginnings, this is not an error. It is a matter of alignment. Your parents, siblings, and partners are not mere coincidences. They serve as mirrors, messengers, and catalysts. Each one was chosen as a portal. The notion that we select our parents prior to birth may initially appear irrational, particularly for those who have endured profound pain, abandonment, or trauma within their families. However, when we transcend the limitations of the physical mind and enter the broader awareness of the soul, we start to comprehend that the selection of our parents is neither accidental nor cruel, but rather intentional, complex, and spiritually exact. Our parents are not merely the vessels of our physical existence. They are the energetic gateways through which we enter this realm. Their genetic makeup, emotional patterns, and unresolved narratives create the very terrain we must navigate to rediscover our true selves. From a spiritual standpoint, the soul resides in a timeless dimension where it observes the patterns of numerous incarnations. In this heightened state of consciousness, the soul assesses which lessons remain unfinished and which spiritual abilities still require development. Contrary to popular belief, the soul does not prioritize comfort or convenience. Rather, it seeks growth, expansion, and the dissolution of illusions. It yearns for progress and actively pursues situations that will challenge, refine, and awaken it. One of the most significant methods it employs is selecting a family system that provides the exact conditions necessary for this evolution to take place. The parents we choose symbolize more than mere individuals. They represent living templates of emotional frequencies, belief systems, behavioral patterns, and karmic legacies. This choice is not made in solitude, but in collaboration with soul guides, spiritual councils, and often the souls of the prospective parents themselves. These discussions occur prior to birth, in what some ancient traditions refer to as the interlife, a realm between incarnations. During these sacred gatherings, agreements are established, roles are embraced, and a complex interplay of love and challenge is orchestrated. Even when the agreement entails suffering, abandonment, or illness, it is never a form of punishment. Rather, it is a divine framework intended to facilitate a greater awakening. On a psychological level, the child inherits more than mere genetics. It absorbs the emotional remnants of the parents, particularly the mother during pregnancy. Contemporary science has begun to reveal how trauma, stress, and even fear experienced by the mother can impact the developing nervous system of the fetus. This notion, long recognized by ancient spiritual systems, is now reflected in the field of epigenetics, which studies how emotional experiences and environmental factors can influence gene expression. In essence, we do not solely inherit our parents' experiences. We frequently inherit their responses to life itself. The soul comprehends that this emotional DNA, this silent and invisible frequency, is a crucial element in its mission. When the soul opts to cultivate resilience, it may select emotionally unavailable parents, compelling it to find inner stability. If the soul is addressing a past life injury related to powerlessness, it might choose a father who is overbearing or critical, creating the precise circumstances to reignite personal strength. These decisions are not rooted in masochism but in mastery. The soul possesses awareness. It understands that the personality and ego developed in this lifetime will endure suffering. However, the soul does not gauge growth through comfort, but rather through light, love, and realization. Occasionally, we select parents with whom we share past lives, leading to karmic entanglements that require resolution or rebalancing. A mother who was a child in a previous life may now return as the caregiver to her former parent. A sibling in this life may have been a rival, lover, or even an adversary in another existence. These transitions are not random. They are orchestrated by what can only be described as divine intelligence. The familial relationships we are born into are not coincidental. They are reverberations of unfinished narratives, written with the aspiration that this time the conclusion will differ. For those who have endured significant harm from their parents, this teaching may initially seem invalidating. However, it is essential to recognize that choosing a parent does not equate to choosing to be abused or harmed. It signifies the selection of a specific energetic matrix where such possibilities are present, not with the intention of suffering, but with the aim of transcending. In certain instances, the soul may enter a challenging family environment to disrupt a generational cycle of abuse, addiction, or silence. In doing so, that soul becomes a liberator, not only for itself, but for the entire ancestral lineage. Healing is seldom an individual endeavor. It reverberates backward and forward through time. When considering soulmates, many people instinctively think of romantic partners. However, in reality, some of our most significant soul contracts are not with lovers, but with those we are born alongside, our siblings. The siblings we select prior to our birth, whether they are our closest allies, distant acquaintances, or lifelong adversaries, are never a matter of chance. They form part of a network of souls that accompany us through various lifetimes, intricately weaving a profound and sacred fabric of development, healing, and remembrance. From the perspective of the soul, existence is not an individual endeavor. We are born alongside a familiar group of souls that interchange roles across different lifetimes. In one incarnation, an individual may be your brother. In another, they may take on the roles of your daughter, mother, or even your opponent. These clusters of souls journey together through various dimensions and time frames, facilitating each other's growth by enacting significant themes. We select these companions not solely out of affection, but also out of necessity. Our personal development relies on the friction, support, reflection, and challenges that only these particular souls can offer. Siblings, in particular, present a distinct energetic dynamic. Unlike parents, who typically assume an authoritative role and symbolize the structure of the past, siblings often stand as equals. They serve as mirrors of the self, born into the same family and shaped by similar circumstances, yet responding in fundamentally different manners. This divergence is not by chance. It is meticulously orchestrated. When a soul opts for a sibling, it is selecting a point of reflection, another soul that will accompany them, either in harmony or tension, to illuminate unhealed facets of the self. From a spiritual perspective, siblings frequently embody contrasting expressions of a shared karmic theme. For example, two siblings may emerge from a family where emotional expression is stifled. One may become highly expressive, even volatile, while the other may become emotionally withdrawn. Each is exploring a different aspect of the same wound, and through their interactions, whether nurturing or antagonistic, they inadvertently stimulate growth in one another. The spirit perceives this interplay not as discord, but as a process of enhancement. It utilizes the sibling relationship to expand the heart, fortify the will, and transcend inherited behaviors. Often, souls choose to incarnate as siblings to address unresolved issues from previous existences. For instance, a soul that once betrayed or harmed another may return as their younger sibling, positioned in a state of reliance and purity. This inversion presents a sacred chance for forgiveness, restitution, and energetic balance. Such arrangements are not punitive. Rather, they are spiritual opportunities, allowing for the rewriting of past narratives with heightened awareness. Some siblings enter life as soul partners, providing profound love and support, often feeling timeless. From an early age, there may be an innate sense of understanding, a telepathic bond, or an inexplicable intimacy, indicating that the connection has been cultivated over numerous lifetimes. These siblings serve not only as emotional supports, but also as spiritual allies, assisting one another in remembering their true essence, frequently incarnating together during particularly arduous lifetimes to provide mutual aid. Conversely, some siblings may appear entirely disconnected, with minimal communication or a sense of estrangement, even animosity. This too has significance, as the spiritual lesson may involve detachment, establishing boundaries, or relinquishing expectations. Not every sibling relationship is intended to be harmonious. Some exist to reflect abandonment, challenge forgiveness, or act as catalysts for independence. In these instances, the soul selects a sibling who will assume a disruptive or contrasting role to encourage internal development. These lessons may be subtle, often unnoticed by the external world, yet they can be profoundly transformative internally. Additionally, there are cases where a sibling is lost early in life due to miscarriage, premature death, or estrangement. The absence of a sibling can create a significant emotional impact, but it also serves a purpose. At times, the spiritual lesson involves detachment, establishing boundaries, or relinquishing expectations. Not every sibling relationship is intended to be harmonious. Some serve to reflect feelings of abandonment, challenge forgiveness, or act as catalysts for independence. In these instances, the soul selects a sibling who will assume a disruptive or contrasting role to foster internal growth. These lessons, while often subtle and imperceptible to the outside world, can lead to profound transformation. Additionally, there are situations where a sibling is lost early in life due to miscarriage, premature death, or estrangement. The absence of such a sibling can leave a significant emotional mark, yet it also serves a purpose. The soul of the departed sibling may have opted for a brief incarnation to accomplish a specific karmic task or to trigger a spiritual awakening within the family. In certain cases, that soul may return later as a child or even as a significant individual outside the family unit. The connection persists even in the absence of physical presence. It is crucial to note that not all siblings are born into the same family. Often, our closest soul siblings are not biological. They may manifest in our lives as friends, colleagues, or even rivals, yet the energetic bond remains unmistakable. These energetic siblings share a similar soul signature and frequently enter our lives during transformative periods. Like our biological siblings, they hold keys to forgotten aspects of ourselves, often awakening latent gifts or compelling us to confront hidden fears. Upon meeting them, we may experience an immediate sense of familiarity, as if we are resuming a conversation that commenced long before this lifetime. Furthermore, birth order itself is a spiritual decision. A soul that chooses to incarnate as the eldest may seek to explore themes of responsibility, leadership, or the shadow of control. A middle child may grapple with feelings of invisibility, peacemaking, or comparison, while the youngest may embody freedom, rebellion, or the desire to disrupt generational cycles. Even twins possess unique energies and intentions, frequently embodying reflected karmic roles. The sequence of their birth is not arbitrary. It signifies the soul's plan for experiencing growth within a specific family dynamic. Upon deeper examination, it becomes evident that our siblings are not merely individuals we share our upbringing with. They represent spiritual archetypes, reflections of ourselves manifested in different forms, resonating with complementary lessons. Regardless of whether they bring us happiness or sorrow, closeness or separation, their purpose is to facilitate our awakening. Their presence or absence contributes to our soul's narrative. Thus, healing sibling relationships transcends merely addressing childhood traumas. It involves reconnecting with the sacred agreement that united you. It requires acknowledging the bravery it takes for two souls to descend into this material realm and enact lessons they may have rehearsed across lifetimes. Even when physical reconciliation is unattainable, it can still be realized energetically through forgiveness, intention, and prayer. The idea that we select our romantic partners prior to birth may appear paradoxical in a society that idealizes the notion of serendipitous love. However, the truth is that romantic attraction often stems from profound, unconscious forces. When we feel drawn to someone, there is usually more involved than superficial chemistry. The attraction represents an energetic resonance, a connection between two souls destined to encounter one another. These relationships are frequently not coincidental. They are deliberate, preordained by the higher consciousness of our existence. The dynamics between romantic partners often reflect unresolved issues within each individual. One partner may embody a deeply rooted fear of abandonment, while the other may evoke themes of power and control. Such imbalances are not mere coincidences. They serve as invitations for healing. Consider the concept of the twin flame, which has its origins in ancient spiritual teachings. Twin flames are frequently regarded as two halves of a single soul, divided across various lifetimes, with each half embodying a portion of the soul's essence. Upon their meeting, twin flames often experience an immediate and profound connection, akin to a sense of returning home. Nevertheless, the relationship between twin flames is not always characterized by harmony. In fact, the depth of their connection frequently compels both individuals to confront their most profound fears, insecurities, and inner shadows. This dynamic arises because twin flames are not merely present to experience love in its most idealized form. Rather, they serve to catalyze each other's personal growth, often through cycles of separation and reunion. It is through the friction, contrast, and the alchemical blending of their energies that they can achieve their utmost potential. A similar, yet more prevalent dynamic can be observed with what are commonly referred to as soulmates. Soulmates are individuals with whom we share deep, enduring connections that transcend individual lifetimes. These are the people who understand us in ways that others cannot, who feel as though they have always been a part of our lives. While soulmates can indeed be romantic partners, they may also manifest as friends, mentors, or even family members. In romantic contexts, soulmates are often those with whom we have shared numerous lifetimes, supporting each other's growth in various forms. Unlike twin flames, the unions of soulmates are typically characterized by a greater sense of ease and shared purpose, even though they too may involve significant life lessons. These relationships provide the opportunity to experience the most transformative aspects of love, including compassion, empathy, and personal growth. However, it is essential to recognize that not all romantic partners qualify as soulmates or twin flames. In reality, many of our romantic relationships are karmic in nature. These connections are not defined by ease or harmony. Rather, they are intense and often painful relationships designed to compel us to address unresolved issues from the past. A karmikus partner may tukrozni a sebeket, a trauma megoldasat, vagi asilozo eletekbol sarmazo tudatalan mintakat. For instance, a spirit that previously caused suffering to another may reincarnate in this life to assume the position of the victim, facilitating healing and equilibrium for both individuals. Karmic relationships are marked by a feeling of inevitability, as if we are fated to encounter one another and revisit specific patterns. They are never without significance, even when they result in profound anguish or sorrow.